Hello, and welcome back to White Noise Level 3 podcast. This is Tibanaku from South Florida, and first of all, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I hope you're not an essential worker like I am, and I have to work a full shift shortly. But hey, I'm just glad that I have a job. So it's just bizarre to be working. I worked Christmas Eve. Um, I'm working today, and it's hard to get your head in the game because I'm getting so many requests for video chats that I just think working in these core holidays should be illegal. But like I said, I'm really thankful to have a job. So we're going to get into our topic shortly, but I have a few updates. This is my guardian angel, Uriel, and he has really come through with me for me at all times. I would always joke, and I still do, that I have an army of uh, guardian angels, and they're rotating in shifts and everything, and it isn't just one because of the things I get into. So yeah, I'll probably have another podcast on everything that he's done for me. But in the meantime, uh, it is Christmas, and it wouldn't be Christmas without some candles. So I've got my aromatherapy going, and we're gonna light our Christmas candle together. If it looks like I just woke up, it's because I just woke up. And if you guys, I'm streaming live on my podcast. And there we go. Merry Christmas. Loving the butane lighter. Streaming live, obviously on YouTube, and then also on Twitch. So my channel name from Twitch is Tiwanaku LLC, Tiwanaku LLC. So with these 3 live streams, I would really appreciate it if you guys would like, share, and subscribe. My YouTube channel, of course, is White Noise Level 3, same name as my podcast. And then, of course, I have my website, whitenoiselevel3.wordpress.com, where you can leave a donation and show your support if you choose to do so. It would be really appreciated. All right. Well, I definitely wanted to start off this Christmas broadcast thanking all of you. My traffic just keeps on growing and growing, and it wouldn't be possible without all of you. I love going into the statistics and seeing, obviously I don't know your name or anything, but I see where the traffic is coming from. So the big countries, it's kind of a surprise now. It used to be India and US. India is still a heavy hitter, of course. Hello, Delhi.com. Kolkata. I love you guys. I went to visit. But Canada is my second highest. So hello, Winnipeg, and all of you guys. You must be really cold. So I appreciate you for sure. All right. I needed a few days to decompress because it was just such a bizarre situation that just happened to me, story of my life. But basically, I had this Looney Tunes approach me at work. And the thing is, when you work in the service industry, you don't really have that much of a choice. When I was an executive, you wouldn't be able to talk to me. I mean, you had to go through my PR firm, and you would be vetted. Their questions would be reviewed, and I may or may not talk to you for an interview. But in this situation, I don't have my glorious PR firm. So I'm at the entrance of the facility, and I could already tell it was a little special because the facility is high end. I mean, Tesla, huge, pimped out SUVs, just whatever, right? Escalades. And then I see turning in what looks like this, 80s car, like an M&M car. I honestly have never seen something like that before. At least I live in a really opulent area. So I was kind of like, are you lost? Well, she announces herself. There's a young man next to her, and I'm guessing a young man, behind her. It was kind of dark. Hoping it's her son because she's an older woman. And she stops and says, "Oh, hi. We're here to go to the very back of the property to the bay to see, quote, the Grand Conjunction." And I said, I don't really have an approval for this. So, I mean, without the approval, I'm not able to let you guys in. And of course, nobody in the car has a mask. As everybody knows, I'm pretty much on DEFCON 5 with protecting myself. I have asthma, so that's a comorbidity. Um, this woman starts to argue. She starts to point at her parking sticker, which frankly anybody could alter, and just make one up at FedEx, saying that she's a teacher here, that she's been teaching for 15 years. And I was just like, oh, great. So then quickly she falls into the mistake that almost everybody makes with me, which is you look at me and you think, hey, Twitch viewer, how are you? I'm just recording my podcast live, so thank you. Merry Christmas. The mistake that everybody makes is they look at me and they think, oh, she looks like a person that I can just manipulate and push over. Um, very nice, very polite, and so on, which is true up to a point, but definitely not the pushover. And that was kind of, hopefully by now she's starting to realize that. Who knows? And this, I'm calling her, the name of this episode is The Most Wicked and Selfish Woman in the World. She gets out of her car. Luckily, I'm in like a gatehouse. As she's coming up to me, I close it and I lock it because I could tell that it was, like road rage. I guess we've all had it. It was like that, but she was physically coming up to me and just the expressions and everything. Um, so finally, she understood that this isn't going her way and it isn't going her way quickly. Um, and then she gets in her car. I just explained, look, I need permission from the head of this entire place. And she says, oh, I don't have my phone. Like, who doesn't have their phone? It's a global pandemic. You could be driving keel over and die, okay? You need your phone nowadays, especially. So she says, can you call him? And I said, no, nope. Um, and I was actually, doing that because I knew that they were going to say no. Well, why should I do something that I'm not supposed to, that it's my choice to do or not? By then, she was already pissing me off. I'm not doing anything for her, basically. And I said, so she goes, you're going to make me get in the car and drive back home and get my phone? And I go, I'm not making you do anything, but if you wish. And she goes, oh, well, I just live 5 minutes away from here. Well, good for you. And then she honks, and she's acting like I should just let her through so she can turn around. By then, she's acting like such a complete lunatic that um, I'm afraid that she's just going to go on to her destination. So, and anyway, the policy is not to do that anyway if you deny entry. So I just went like that, which means reverse up and get out of here. Sorry, not sorry. So, believe it or not, she came back, shortly. And this time, her idiot, I hope it's her son, who knows with these people, but this is my TV remote control. He was leaning out of the car, obviously recording me with his cell phone. He was like, it's kind of hard to do this. He was like this. I mean, his hand was out with the phone. It was pretty obvious that he was recording me as they're driving in. And not to repeat myself, I'm just going to go ahead and read the email that I sent to my manager about this entire incident. But I guess the main point is, how dare you go on with your own little agenda of having some bizarro picnic and who knows, like casting spell situation in the back bay. I went back there. I went all the way back to the property. It's rocks and it's deep water. I couldn't even see the bottom. So it's very dangerous. I was the only person on this entire campus, and I'm certainly not taking any responsibility for you. On top of that, how dare you? She was coming up to me again without her mask, and I guess I was able to protect myself again by shutting the glass door and locking it. This was after telling her repeatedly to put her mask on, but she was in such a rage that she wouldn't. And frankly, I'm not going to die because of you and your stupid, she wanted to go to the back and see some kind of planetary conjunction. Go ahead and do that. 5 minutes away in your house or whatever. Just don't do it here. The entire place is closed. And you don't have permission. At the end of the day, you don't have permission. But I'm not going to die because of you. Okay. So here's my email. I didn't have to do this. I'm in the clear. I mean, the only feedback that I got from the client was customer service, to think of, trying to be maybe a little bit more helpful. And of course, the bottom line is call the supervisor as soon as something like this happens, because I wasn't really calling anybody. Okay, here we go. Last night around dusk, I opened the gates to allow a car to pull in, driven by a woman. There was a young man as passenger and someone in the back seat, presumably another young man. No one had masks. And again, this is being recorded during the coronavirus pandemic, where apparently there are now several strains in the UK, one of which is from South Africa, which is deadlier and able to, and 70% more likely to be spread. I mean, if that wasn't bad enough, if we weren't already in hot water. She said she was a teacher, pointed at a red pass hanging in the rearview mirror. Her intention was to drive to the back of the bay to watch, air quotes, the grand conjunction. I told her that unfortunately she was not approved to enter. She quickly went into a rage, saying that she was a teacher for 15 years. She got out of her car and approached the guardhouse. She was standing right by the door to the guardhouse without a mask, which by then, of course, is locked. I suggested that she call the person to give her approval. She claimed she didn't have a cell phone, and if I could call him. I had just called the said person to two other families in for some other things. I mean, I just called him, and I mean, I know he's married. I guess, he probably has some kids or something. It was right around dinner time, and I'm just not going to call this person again because, uh, like all of us, we all work, but then we also need our private time and our family time. And I was respecting that. I mean, I really just called him less than an hour ago. I didn't want to bother him, and I wanted to give this teacher a chance to calm down, so I asked if she could please call him instead. Then she asked if she could drive through to turn around, but given her state, I asked her to back up instead. This is also an instruction that it's actually part of my job. If I deny entry, you need to back up. You cannot obviously go in. It's kind of like denying the inevitable. I was concerned that if I did let her in, that she would take advantage and continue with her intended destination on the property. Then she said, air quotes, I live 5 minutes away. Are you going to make me drive home and come back? I was giving her this chance to exit gracefully and also avoid getting her into trouble for being so combative. So I nodded. I said, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Well, as we all know by now, because we're listening to this podcast, she did come back shortly. And again, no one in the car was wearing a mask, which I had asked her earlier to correct. Also, I observed that the said previously, young man that was a passenger in her car appeared to be filming me on his cell phone that he was holding out of the car window without a mask, of course. As a small aside there, hello, fool. I can see that I'm being recorded. So pretty much as soon as I saw that, you know, do you really think I'm going to come out and give you a little video show? I don't think so. And the next time that you're doing something like that, try to be a little bit more incognito about it because you're giving the person the heads up that they're being recorded. I'm not the hothead here. I am completely in control. This doesn't bother me. I wish it wouldn't happen. The only thing that I was really concerned about was getting sick and dying from this entire pandemic, and I'm certainly not about to do so for these fools. And then on top of that, I believe that the entire world is here to entertain me. So this was slightly entertaining, but. And then, you might want to up your game. Instead of holding out a 1980s cell phone, why don't you get a GoPro like I have on my person and in my backpack? Okay. Anywho, she said she called the wife of the headmaster. That doesn't mean anything to me. Okay. I just started this job. The wife of the headmaster, like I'm supposed to be afraid, did come walking in shortly with her dog. I explained the situation again. The wife had the mask, the teacher did not. They were both standing right up to the door, to my door again. I asked for the teacher again to please put her mask on and advise that I'm only shutting the door because of my concern of the pandemic and protecting myself. Then, right in front of me, but through the glass door that was locked again, I observed the wife of the headmaster. Ooh, I'm scared. Talking to the teacher and talking her down, because this is not going to happen. The teacher got into her car, slammed the door, and backed up out of the property. Subsequently, the wife told me that she knew I was doing my job. Later, when I was doing my rounds, I met the headmaster. With his grandson. We had a nice visit, and he said the same thing, that I was just doing my job. And that he also explained that apparently the husband of this said combative teacher had recently died. So that's that. Uh, in the evening, the client, called me, and he said he received about 3 calls about this. why didn't I call him? And I gave him the shortened version, of course, minus the rage factor and the fact that I was being recorded. I mentioned the fact that they didn't have mass. He said the next time to call him. And of course, I agreed. My supervisor also said to call her right away, too. So that's just what I'm doing for these fools. I'm not giving them, um, a graceful exit. I'm just going to call. It's not worth it. Not during these days. Um, the client said that sometimes situations are not so black. There's a gray. And of course, that's true. But at the same time, unfortunately, this horrible airborne, highly contagious virus is black and white, and it's not gray. You're either 6 feet under or you're walking on the land of the living, which is where I prefer to remain. I regret taking obvious measures to protect myself. I regret taking obvious measures to protect myself and others, as perhaps this was taken as being belligerent. Also, I was using de-escalation techniques of not looking directly at the teacher, just looking ahead when she was raging outside of the guardhouse. Again, not to be belligerent, but to de-escalate. And to this day, I didn't ask or take her name down because, ironically, I did not want her to get in trouble. Everyone is going through a lot these days. So I was obviously being sarcastic when I said that I regret taking the measures to protect myself. I think everyone should be taking measures to protect themselves, which is, again, washing your hands 6 feet apart, mask. And don't forget that with the mask, you're supposed to wash them every day. So get a little bag, put it in your washer, wash the whole thing, and then put it in a Ziploc bag of containing your super clean masks that have not been worn. Because I know when you're getting out of the house, I'm always running late. Where's my mask? Where's my mask? I have about, I don't know, a dozen masks now. So that stress is gone. But I called a few friends, and I called, obviously, my family friend who's a doctor. And I was actually really mad that this woman was so into herself that she would risk my life and the life of others by approaching me in a rage without a mask. I mean, obviously, when you're in a combative mode, I guess some people start talking, more vociferously. Well, that's spreading the virus even more. It's going airborne even more because of your altered mental state. So, um, my family friend who's a doctor, he said, yeah, I mean, people in my position, I mean, with these bizarre encounters over and over and over again, that the people are actually suffering from PTSD because I was explaining it's very stressful that now you have this virus. So every action has a filter of, am I safe? Is everybody else safe? Oh, this person's, approaching me. Oh, it's closer than the 6 feet barrier. Oh, this person doesn't have a mask. How can I defend myself? And just these small actions, like closing the door, locking the door because I was afraid she would open it, that can save my life or the life of others. And it's just too much. And this has been going on for too long. So once again, this is where self-care comes into play. Showing you the candle again, which is nicely melted with a nice scent here, a nice like homey Christmas scent. Do what you need to do, like get your aromatherapy. Like I always say, get your own podcast. Stream live in 3 different sectors: Twitch, YouTube, and my podcast itself. I want to thank you all. This actually is helping me to talk through this again. I spoke with my family about this, but it obviously in such an upsetting situation like this, it actually helps to, talk right after the event. And then, like I said, giving it a few days, like I am now, to talk to you. But um, the main message here to wrap up is that on Christmas Day is that unfortunately evil does exist, and it can come in the form of a nice little, I guess she's retired now. I don't know. She's been teaching for 15 years of a like a grandma type woman. Evil exists and walks on this planet, and I saw it. How dare you be so selfish that you're going to become combative in a rage, come up to me, physically come into try to come into my space and get me sick. No mask. No mask. So I cannot believe how selfish people are. It's just, people just don't even realize the situation. I mean, I hope everybody's safe, but at the end of the day, save yourself. I have responsibilities. I am not leaving my family alone, and I am not leaving my 2 dogs and 3 cats alone. I am making it through this pandemic. So help me God. I've made it this far. Um, you know, I'm taking my medication. I have another podcast on this, but this is really important here. This little pill, again, micro decisions could be saving my life. It's vitamin D that my sister sent to me because apparently the stores are running out. And if you Google that, vitamin D is shown to be effective against combating this virus. So I'm doing what I can. I mean, last night I diffused frankincense oil, which is a very powerful for fighting this virus. In fact, I think I put too much of the oil, and it smelled a little strange when I woke up this morning. So I mean, what can you do? But I am I am not going to let a deranged woman or man or child or baby or anything, even a pet, come between me and living my life's destiny to the fullest extent and to the longest extent possible. As you can tell from this podcast, I love life. I love living. I love exploring in every sense of the word. Physically, studying cultures and anthropology, which I'll get more into on this podcast as well. So that will be something to really look forward to in 2021. But don't be deceived. Don't be deceived. It was, I guess, a normal, nice looking old lady that went bonkers. And that can cause you individually, can cause us today, unfortunately, based on the pandemic right now. So take any and all precautions. I mean, at the very least, take even a dish towel, put it over your entire face. If you can't get into, an enclosed space like I could that's locked. I mean, just do whatever you can, because at the end of the day, these people have the power to kill. And why go down? Why go down? Because of their selfishness, very, very wicked, and their stupidity. So with that, Merry Christmas. And like I said, we'll be talking shortly. Please leave a comment. Let me know how you like this video and podcast, of course. And please don't forget to donate. Thank you.